From Conway, Arkansas, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. Good morning, I'm Joey McWilliams, and I am today on the campus of Central Baptist College, one of three colleges here in Conway, a beautiful campus here, and we are currently in Redden Fieldhouse getting ready for a basketball doubleheader, college basketball going on here today at 1 o'clock. It's a doubleheader between the Central Baptist College Mustangs and the Lyon Scots, an AMC matchup, and teams ranked in both games, and so it should be a really good day. I'm seated next to the women's basketball coach, Lyle Middleton, who is not only the women's basketball coach but also the athletic director here, the golf coach as well. You wear a number of hats, sir.
I do.
I'm just glad that you've taken some time to be with me today. Now, I realize tip time is less than 2 hours away, and you all have a tall order as the Lyon Scots are ranked coming in to Redden Fieldhouse today, and the women's basketball team already has faced Lyon once this year, came up a little bit short at their place, hoping maybe to return the favor at home. Talk about what you're going to be seeing today and this girls basketball team that you have that has had a pretty good season in their own right.
We've, we're still trying to figure things out for us. Lions are really hard matchup. I mean, they've got a couple seasoned players that are very tough to match up for us. Madison Riley, I mean, she's just a 5'10" kid that handles the basketball, handles the pressure, rebounds, does all the little things that it's hard for, right now for us to match up against. But they're really good. They're ranked 10th, I believe, in the nation, and they are leading the conference. So they're the best right now, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to try to knock them off.
Well, you all do come in, though, with a winning record. They're 13-9 right now and doing well. Not only that in conference play, about the middle of the pack in conference play right now, but still an opportunity today maybe to make some noise against this Lyon team.
I believe we're tied for 7th in the conference. Our conference has been tough the last few years. They've had as many as 4 teams nationally ranked. This year we have 3. William Woods now is receiving votes. And it's just it seems like as we get better, everybody else does too. This year we've lost 3 of our top 7 kids, top 8 kids with knee injuries out for the season. And anytime you have injuries, you got to figure out who can step up and if we can make some adjustments. But the other side, too, is when you have preparation and plans for the season and you lose those key players, it does take a toll on your team. But, our kids are playing hard. I mean, we always expect the worst and hope for the best. And that's kind of what this season has been like. But, we've got some kids that have stepped up and challenged, and we challenged them, and we're getting the production. It's just, we're playing some tough schedule right now.
Speaking now with Lyle Middleton, who is the athletic director here at Central Baptist College and also the women's basketball coach. Midwest Sports Saturday today is presented by Integrity Insurance, and we appreciate them being the sponsor for our broadcast today from Conway. Very glad to be here. It's a cold day outside. It's getting a little bit warmer. The sun's come out, and that helps a lot, but it's going to be a nice place to watch some basketball in here in Redden Fieldhouse, and good facilities here. I've enjoyed looking around, seeing what's here. There's history on this campus, and it's a nice place to come, I would imagine, to play and also go to school here.
Absolutely. It's a good environment. The professors are very engaged in the athletes as far as a student. The kids know each other. When you're a smaller enrollment, everybody seems to know what sports you play or who you are, versus these bigger campuses, you kind of get lost. So that we are unique in that way. We're a Christian environment. I like the way we have high standards for how we're going to act and how we're going to represent the institution, and we try to uphold our moral values, and I like that, what we have to offer here.
I've noticed too with your roster, and I had a chance to get to hear from a couple of girls that had some big nights not long ago with Corey Westerman, with Holly Allen. And Corey from just right down the road, actually, and I did want to talk about that and able to get players like that to come in. But even though there have been some players that have gone down, it does look like the next man up mentality is, it's there, and the players are stepping in.
Right. We always, when I recruit a kid in, I'm trying to figure out where this kid's gonna fit in our system. Some kids are immediate impact players, and some need a little bit of time. But that's the challenge we put out for is somebody's got to have a big night every night. And when you rely on a couple players, and we have kids that may have bigger numbers, but teams are making adjustments against those kids, and so therefore somebody's got an opportunity to step up, and we got kids that are playing hard, and that's the most important thing.
And you see that in all levels, that you just need to be ready to play. And it doesn't matter. You look at teams like, my wife's a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, so definitely she's been happy in recent weeks with what the Chiefs did. But they were able to, have some healthy players stay healthy throughout the course of the year. It doesn't always happen that way, and you were talking about the flip side of that. Players that you expect and you draw things up around in the preseason and even pre-conference slate, and when you don't have them, man, it just changes everything, and it's an example, I think, a testament then to athletes. No matter where you are, you have to be ready.
Absolutely. That's and kids come in wanting instant gratification. They want instant stardom, and when they come from other institutions that they may be the best player, and now they're surrounded by 15 other really good players, sometimes it's hard for them to handle that role, and you just got to identify the role with them and help them understand that right now this is what we need you to do, and if you buy into that, then success is going to come. But it's tougher and tougher to get kids to understand you're not the star athlete at this time.
Right.
You could be, but you also want to keep their attitude moving in the right direction, because if you have those injury-prone seasons or kids that you think are going to be better or turn out better than what they actually are, you got to have kids step up, and I think some of our kids are getting challenged in that and trying to handle those roles, and I'll take this group of girls with anybody. They get along well, they work hard, and we're just the matchups right now are not in our favor. But hopefully today.
Hopefully today. Well, and I know, and we have the men's basketball team behind us right now. That's pretty cool. I love the enthusiasm. I love the excitement. That's one of the great things about being on campus is to be able to have that. So they're getting ready, and they have a big matchup ahead of them today as well. Number 19 in the country, the men's team. You're talking about there really quick about maybe today is that day. You've been here, I believe, 16 years.
16
is that correct?
Seasons, yes.
16 seasons here in different facets and working different things. Of course, athletic director being a job right now that you look at. But you know what? It's not just the women's basketball. You have golf on your plate too.
I coach golf also.
and you all actually, are coming in. This is a team that's getting some national recognition as well.
We were ranked as high as, I believe, 15 or 16, middle of the fall. And then we dropped our last tournament. We played a match play tournament. We finished second in it. We had our chance to win. And match play is just the best team, the most talented or most prepared team may not always win in match play. That's
right.
And the scenario worked against us because of those situations. But saying that, we are 19th ranked right now, and we've got a really good group of kids, and I think we've got a chance to do well in our conference and continue to stay in the national rankings.
That's one of the things too about golf, and I, if you follow it, then you recognize this and understand what I'm about to say. If you don't follow it on the college level as much, and all you see are the folks in the pros that when spring starts, that's when they start playing. Golf is a sport that has a split season. You've already had some opportunities to get out there on the links, and you'll get some again after basketball season's over with.
We will. Last year's team, we were similar with 3 wins in the fall, and we just either come in overconfident or we just didn't have the spring semester like I thought we would. This year, I think they're more seasoned, more mature. We've got some seniors that has a lot of rounds under their belt, that they understand where we were last year and where we finished and where we are this year and what we want. The goals that we want to achieve, they're attainable. I think we're one of the top 25 teams in the country. We face some of the better teams out there, and we're head-to-head match well with them. So, having a fall and spring, you kind of get a taste of what we're going to be like, but, I'd rather start out slow and finish strong. But in golf, you want to kind of maintain that momentum. So if you can start out early, playing well, it kind of builds up for the spring and the excitement for it.
Let me ask you really quickly, and by the way, and I'm not really sure about exactly what's going on audio-wise. So if you're listening to us, is this a fire alarm right now, or is it tornado drill, or what's happening?
You know, this is an older building, and sometimes, you know, this little alarm system goes off, and I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. So is it okay?
We're
if
safe.
We're safe. We can still talk.
Safe.
Okay.
That's right.
I just didn't want to be dishonorable to someone coming in and saying, "Look, you know, you guys have to go." So
no,
that's all right.
We're safe.
Okay. Now with golf, then let me ask you really quickly. And you talked about match play, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a different animal. That's something again that most sports don't deal with, because you can come in and you can play in I mean, it can be, you're dealing literally with different rules in different events that you play.
Correct,
I mean, you could
correct.
come in and play just standard tournament, you know, and have your top 4 or top 5 and their scores count, or it could be the match play setting where you're going against other teams like that. Is that difficult to adjust to the mentality, or do you have enough time in between events that, you know, you can set your mentality to be able to play the sport you're going to play that day?
Well, with match play, I mean, for us, example, I think in our first 2 matches, we won 5-0, 4-1. Well, the team, Southwest Christian, I think they finished 3-2, 3-2. And then we got into the final match. We were, you know, in stroke play, you're trying to play the most consistent golf, keeping everything together. In match play, it's all hole by hole, so you can be more aggressive based on what your opponent does. And so therefore it's not the true scoring, because if we took the scores in that tournament, you know, we would have won by 15 shots. But when you take the match play, it changes a lot of things up, and it's just hole by hole, head-to-head match. And in that match, you know, it come down to our last 2 groups, and my number 1 kid was 2 up with 2 to play, and all he had to do was tie 1 hole, and the kid he played really well. I mean, and that's the tough side. Are you trying to hang on, or you're trying to still be aggressive? And
right.
You know, I think it was a good experience for our guys having a different style, because we don't play match play. I mean, that's the first one we've ever been part of. NCAA does it for their national finals. It's match play, or their I guess the last 8.
That quarter, getting into the quarters,
You know, they go into that. So I like the format because it does balance out. I don't know that it really shows who the best team is based on that scoring ability.
I understand.
But, you know, it's fun. It was fun. You know, it was an exciting match for the guys.
Well, Coach Lyle Middleton, thank you very much for letting us come here on campus today as the Director of Athletics. We appreciate that. And really quickly then, against Lyon, we'll get a chance to visit with Coach Stuart Lang here in just a moment. But, you know, should be a good matchup today?
It should be. We've got to make adjustments. You know, that's the thing about each game. You got to adjust based on how they're playing, and you know, they're just a tough matchup. But I think we match up pretty good. We just got to keep them from shooting the ball as well as they have. And you know, I don't think we shot the ball well all year. You know, Holly had a great game with 10 threes, and we've gone through spells of decent shooting. I don't think we've had a really good shooting game yet this year.
All right.
Hopefully today's the day.
Today could be that day. Well, Coach, thank you very much. God bless you, sir. We're going to get a chance to hear from your counterpart here in just a moment, the men's coach. But you can leave that mic right there. I know you've got stuff to do and a game to play in about an hour and 45 minutes. So thank you again, Coach. We're here on Midwest Sports Saturday, and today's broadcast is presented by Integrity Insurance. And, of course, now I believe that the audio is still coming through well, so let me know otherwise. If it isn't, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things. It's live television, so, you know, that's the fun of it all. So we're going to invite Coach Clint Gallion to come over here right now and sit in. Coach,
how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in and sitting in with me today, and just, you know, talking some Central Baptist Mustang basketball. And I believe we can hear. You may have to leave that microphone up a little bit far or closer so we can hear over the fire alarm or whatever else.
There's always something going on, isn't there?
It is, but that's what makes it fun.
It is.
That's what makes it fun. Now, I saw the guys behind just a moment ago, and they're all excited. And of course, number 19 in the country,
yes, sir.
They should be excited. A good season so far. And talk about, you know, what you're seeing from this team right now as it's looking to get 20 wins for the 3rd consecutive year, and what a mark that would be.
Yes, sir. It's a progress. You know, we brought in 12 new guys. We only have 3 returners, so it's been a work in progress, you know, all year. I think we're finally starting to kind of hit our stride. Get our connection together. But I love this group. We're an older group. Experienced. Not only they haven't played with each other, but they've played meaningful games in college basketball before. And so, these guys all came in here trying to win a championship, and they put ourselves in great position in the last 3 weeks of the season to do that.
Well, Coach, you talk about that and new players. And it's always an interesting mindset, and in getting to talk with the coaches that I do. I mean, some coaches are real. They're 4-year folks. You bring them in as freshmen, you raise them up, and sometimes you get the results from that when you see a group that's been here for 4 years. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But to be 17-6 right now and 13-4 in AMC play, it looks like you found at least the chemistry you need from guys that hadn't played together before.
We have, and something that's a little different this year is, instead of us being the hunters, we're kind of the hunted, and we're not used to that. At CBC, we're used to, always, coming from, not expecting much and trying to exceed those expectations. We were voted second place, 2 votes behind Park, so kind of we were the hunted, and that kind of, slipped up some games because every team's ready to play against us, when we're in that position. So that's kind of cost us a few games when we weren't ready. But other than that, our team, we've came together, and, it's all these seniors, that's all they want, so.
Well, hey, listen, you change gears when that happens, and you talk about Park, and right now a game ahead of Park in the conference standings, and so with just a couple weeks left to play, that's a good place to be. Even with that target on the back, there's a reason that target's on the back, and it's because obviously you all have been playing well. Talk about where you're getting some of your production this year too. I mean, with some of these seniors that have stepped up.
We're getting production from a lot of guys. Basically, every game you can look at the box score, and there's different guys leading us in scoring, leading us in rebounds. We have 5 guys averaging double figures. Darius Williams leading us in scoring. He's been huge from behind the arc for us. Simon, our big fella, he's averaging, about close to 14 and about 8.5 rebounds a game. So he's been huge inside for us. And then our 2 point guards, Tyrone Austin, he's averaging, in double figures. And then he's like 3rd in the conference in assists. And then Darius Pauly's right behind him, 4th in the conference in assists, and also averaging double figures as well. And then, we got Tedrick Wolf eligible after the break, and he's averaging, I think, 12 a game for us. So he's been huge for us. But, it's a different contribution every night for us.
That was one of the things I wanted to mention, too. Actually, 2 points from that. One is Darius Williams, because, and I do this, too. I'll look, and I'll start looking over a team, and the first place I'll look through the statistics, and you always see that person who's leading the team in scoring. So, I mean, I'm not going to say other people do that. I do that, too. You want to see where that production is coming from. But, the next thing that you look through, or that I always like to look through, is to see, okay, how far down is it going? And when you have 5 players averaging double figures, that's the real key to it. So, if somebody's not having a good night, then someone else steps up. But the other thing, you mentioned 2 players in the top 5 in assists, and it's a great stat. It's nice to fill up that stat line, but anytime you've got a player with assists, you're looking at a minimum of 2 points, sometimes 3, that are coming along with every one of those assists. So that's a big deal.
It is. And that's something that we struggled early, and we've corrected it. We used to early, probably the first 10, 15 games of the year, we probably had more turnovers than assists, and we've slowly started building on that, where now our assist to turnover ratio is getting to where we want it to be.
Coach, then talk about today. I know that you've got a tip time at 3 o'clock today, and so we don't have the AMC rights to broadcast that game, but we're going to promote it, and we'll update through the afternoon here, and on Midwest Sports Saturday, which today is presented by Integrity Insurance, and we appreciate those folks for sponsoring today's broadcast. But you face a Lion team that it's one of those things that I'm sure you'd like to see them today. You definitely want a shot at them again.
That's one of those games. Lion's one of those teams that they're tough every year. Coach Tapp does a great job. We have ultimate respect for Lyon and for Coach Tapp and what their program's all about. They're a tough team. We got to be ready to play. That's one of those games where I don't think we came ready to play at their place, and one of those games that we let slip away. So our guys are ready to play today.
By the way, and I failed to mention a 4-point loss at Lyon.
Yes, sir.
When you all were number 18 in the country, and you played that one on the road. You're number 19 in the country now. But you're at home today. Does
Yes, sir.
does that make up 4 points?
I
Hopefully
hope
5
so.
then?
I hope so.
Okay. You want it to make up at least 5 then, right?
Yes, sir.
So that could do that. Coach Gallion, what should we expect today? Fast-paced game, possession game? What are we looking at?
Man, we like to play, up-tempo, but, Lyon's the complete opposite.
That's why I'm asking.
They slow it down, so we're going to try to control tempo as much as we can. They don't let teams really speed them up. So, when we get long rebounds, we're going to go. But we also have to, we're going to have to win the game probably in the half court because they're gonna get back in transition. They're not going to let us get a bunch of transition buckets. So we're going to have to be able to execute, and make shots. That's something we didn't do at their place, and hopefully at home, we've been fortunate enough to have a great crowd. We're 10-0 at home, so we're looking to go 11-0, and kind of our motto is just go 1-0 for the day, and that's what we're trying to do.
All right, Central Baptist at the top of the AMC standings and hoping to stay there after today. Coach Clint Gallion, thank you so much for taking time. Appreciate that. God bless you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, as we are here and in Conway on the campus of Central Baptist College, and we're going to be joined by another one of the coaches here from Central Baptist in just a moment. A shout-out to all the folks watching. We do have some folks watching right now online during our live broadcast. Of course, we're live here on Midwest Sports Saturday. Coach, come on up here, please. Make yourself at home. But also this, along with all of our other broadcasts, are recorded as well, and you can go back and watch them. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. It is the MidwestSports.net YouTube channel. Our subscribership is growing, and we appreciate that. We have some goals here for the channel, and definitely want to hit that 1,000 subscribers mark in 2020. So definitely, please do subscribe, and we appreciate you watching today. Next guest right now is Ken Profit, who is the head wrestling coach here at Central Baptist College. And Coach, God bless you, sir. Thank you for sitting in with me this morning.
Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you being here. And I told you where I was going to start.
Yes, sir.
Because I wanted to definitely make sure that you had an opportunity to talk about this in researching and looking through the different things on campus, and I knew I'd have a chance to visit with you today. The first thing I wanted to do was make sure I said your name right.
Yes, sir.
But the other thing was, I looked through and your bio talks about this in the wrestling program that's been around for a little bit less than a decade.
Yes, we're in our ninth season.
Ninth season now,
Yes.
And it said that this is a program in which your wrestlers, your athletes are continuing to get better,
Yes.
and they're continuing to go out from here and do great things for God.
Yes.
So talk about that for just a moment. What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's embedded in our team mission statement, And one thing that I always tell our athletes is that, when you're here as a student athlete, you make sure that you represent yourself, your family, the school, but most importantly, to glorify the Lord. So it's important to me as a coach that these young men know, and what a great institution to embed that in Central Baptist College, is that everything that we do it to glorify the Lord. We're here to build His kingdom. So I take nothing less but excellence in the sense of their behavior, excellence in the classroom, excellence in their practice. If you know who you're doing it for, you're never just going to fall for anything. You're always going to be a leader. Discipleship is a big thing for us. And I tell them, you guys are role models. I expect nothing but the best. I expect nothing less, and that's what they give us. So, by the time they're, some freshmen, they're rough around the edges when they first come. And by their junior year, you can see the turnaround. But by their senior year, they get it. They buy in. They understand that, after I leave here, I got to represent myself, my family, and glorify the Lord. So when they go in their professions, whether it's ministry, we have several guys that go into law enforcement. We have guys that go into, medicine, sports medicine, as personal trainers. But they take that aspect and they know who the Lord is, and they do that in their profession. So when I call them and see how everything is going, they're still, they're doing great things to their church. They're doing great things in their profession.
All right. Yeah, and you're very soft-spoken. You may need to put that up a little bit more, because we want to be able to hear what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And talking about the Lord over the fire behind us. And
Yes,
I'm thankful that I've been assured. Coach Middleton assured me that we're in no danger right now.
I think somebody just actually tripped the alarm, but we're getting it fixed.
And that's all right. Hey, listen, college campus.
Yeah.
Isn't that
There's
part
never
of it?
a dull moment.
Never a dull moment.
Absolutely.
Coach Ken Profit, who is the head wrestling coach here, as well as you work in sports information too. So
yes,
you're one of those people. We just talked about Coach Middleton too. How many different hats you wear when you work in an athletic department and different things that you may or may not have gone to school for, but you do it anyway.
You got to do it. I mean, as a coach, you're not just a coach. You're a coach. You're a counselor. You're a parent sometimes. I mean, you're just so many different positions in one. But here at Central Baptist College, not just being a head coach, but being sports information. And like you and I spoke earlier, sports information is the bloodline for any athletic department in any institution. To have been part of that back in undergrad and then coming in here at CBC, helping them out, being ahead at one point, but now we're blessed to have Eric as our director, and I'm just there to help him out any way I can. I think that's the great thing about Central Baptist College overall. We all love our job, but we all believe in what the Lord is doing here. Mm-hmm. So whatever is asked of us, whether it's being a game day administrator for a game or two, or helping out with sports information, or hey, we need some volunteers to do this and do that. Our staff and our faculty have no problem helping. I mean, you just gotta love it. Everybody loves what they're doing here, and that's the great thing about CBC.
Well, let me let you talk about wrestling here then really quickly too. As the season rolls along, how are you all looking right now? And as you're pushing toward, we're not that far away from postseason opportunities.
We are 1 week away. A week from today. A week from today, we'll be in St. Louis for our AMC conference tournament. I could tell you, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the group that we have. The young men, they've been working hard. We have some freshmen that can definitely make some noise for us at the conference tournament. The great thing about wrestling is when it comes to conference, it's an individual tournament. So as a team, we're down in numbers as a team, so we're not going to make a huge dent as a team at the conference tournament. But again, it's about the individualism. So when it comes to each individual, the guys that we have going can definitely make an impact if they show up. And I can tell you right now, just based on what I've been seeing this season, our guys are going to be more than ready to make an impact. Our conference is pretty tough. We have Marion University, who's right now in the top, and William Baptist and some other great programs. But I think it's one of those deals that they're going to underestimate my guys, and then that's how we perform. I think our guys understand the concept of being ready. They're going to be more than ready. So I'm excited.
I like that too, and I wanted you to point that out too. I mean, we've already been talking about golf and sometimes the difference between stroke play and match play, and it seems to be a different sport. So
right.
Maybe from one weekend to the next, but if the team doesn't advance, I mean, and you say if you don't have someone to fill all those weights, mm-hmm. Coming through, that you still have individual players that
right.
can advance and can move along and even make it out of conference and into the national tournament there.
Correct.
So CBC can make some noise one way or the other. But I would imagine, if a player or an athlete or two is able to advance and get a little bit farther, now you're looking at being able to recruit and fill some of those weights where you haven't before.
Yeah. So recruitment is going well for us this year. Actually, I'm being real quiet about it. I've learned to work in the shadows until you're ready to shine, but we're really excited, and I think it has to do with the freshmen we got coming in. We got some talented freshmen that came in this year, and they have siblings. They have, teammates that they're talking back to at home, say, yeah, man, Coach Profit got some things going on here. You should come see what we got going on. And so because they bought in, they're telling their friends, and, we've had guys that are signing left and right that we haven't made public yet, wait until they're done with their state tournaments back home. But I'm really excited about our recruiting class.
And it is that time of year right now.
It is
state tournament times. You're talking dual state and
absolutely
and
individual state tournaments.
Individual state tournaments,
so
right? Yeah, right now.
It's been an exciting recruiting year. I mean, this will be our second excitement recruitment wise, and I got to give props to my assistant coach Peter Acuna. We have a new coach coming in next semester, Coach Crater, who's doing a great job for us right now where he's at. He hasn't even stepped on campus yet, and he's been a big part of our recruitment profile so far. So exciting things happening with our program behind the scenes, and nobody's going to know until we reveal it. So it's exciting.
Okay. We may have to. You may have to let us break some news on Midwest Sports Saturday. We may have to be the one to get to break some of that news when the time comes along.
That you more than welcome. I'll give you the exclusive for sure.
All right, Coach Ken Profit, thank you so much for taking time with us today. Success to you all this season and into the conference tournament and beyond.
Thank you. Appreciate you, sir.
We're here on Midwest Sports Saturday in Conway, Arkansas, on the campus of Central Baptist College, and we are a little bit less than an hour and a half away from a basketball doubleheader between the Central Baptist Mustangs and the Lyon Scots. And I know we're going to be getting some other folks here in just a moment. By the way, getting to speak with Eric Holt, who is the Sports Information Director here on campus at Central Baptist College, and appreciate all the work not only that he does, but all the work that he's done, even for me today, and being here. It's a great campus. It's a wonderful campus. Getting to look around and see all that's gone on. Of course, we're here in Redden Fieldhouse, and well, you know what? I would be surprised if we don't have a fire alarm go off at least once every now and again, because that's just part of being on campus. Listen, we do have some other things to point out. By the way, a little bit of housekeeping too. We're going to be getting to visit with Coach Tracy Stewart-Lang from Lyon College in just a moment. Special shout out, by the way, to Matt Jagodzinski, who is the Sports Information Director from Lyon College. Appreciate getting to visit with him this week. And also, we had an opportunity to visit with Coach Tapp from Lyon, the men's basketball coach. We'll get a chance to hear that in just a moment. Don't forget, we have some other programs here on the MidwestSports.net YouTube channel. We have the Summit, and we've been able to visit with other folks this week. Had some great interviews this week alone. Had a great panel from the Great Lakes Valley Conference earlier in the week. Had a chance to visit with Nebraska Wesleyan University coach Dale Wellman on Thursday, and the Prairie Wolves, who were national champions just 2 years ago in 2018, looking like they're putting themselves in a position to make a run again this year, 20-2 on the season, and already victorious in the American Rivers Conference. They've already taken the regular season title with 3 games left to play. Know they'll be the top seed in the conference tournament there. And then just a fun opportunity on Friday to visit with some student athletes from Cameron University in Bethany Hines and in Brenna Busby and in Callie Busby as well. So that was a lot of fun. And anyway, we appreciate that. So I'll tell you what we're going to do right now. We had an opportunity to visit with Coach Tapp, the men's basketball coach from Lyon College, and we'll just go ahead. And he is not able to be here for our live broadcast. Of course, he'll be here a little bit later in the afternoon for the game. But this was our chance to visit earlier in the week. We're speaking now with Chad Tapp, who is the head men's basketball coach at Lyon. And Coach Tapp, your team coming off a loss on Thursday night. I know actually after a 5-game winning streak, a couple of losses on the road, and today's game on the road as well. But talk about your meeting on Thursday night.
Well, we're a young team. We start 3 freshmen and a sophomore, and you talked about the 5-game winning streak. I think we've had a little bit of trouble handling success, the receiving votes and those kinds of things. And I think we've kind of gotten out of who we are and what we do, and just haven't played real well the last 2 games. Haven't been as competitive as we need to be.
Coach, one of the things that stands out to me about the last 2 games, and I realize you're averaging about 64 points a game, and your defense keeping things pretty much even at 63 points a game. That's how much you're giving up. But the last 2 games shooting in the 50s, has that been a part of it? Has been a little bit of a struggle to get points?
Well, the last 2 games, we are very ball control dominant. That's kind of who we are as a team. And but the last 2 games, we've played teams that have decided to line right up and do that with us. And so the possessions have been lower. There probably weren't 120 total possessions in the William Woods game. So, there weren't as many opportunities. We've turned it over in both games more than we need to, and that's been part of our problem. We haven't gotten to the free throw line, and that's an issue in itself. But efficiency, we've been decent. It's just they've been lower possession games and somewhat of rock fights, and we're okay with that. It's not gone our way the last two.
I understand. Well, you were talking about the young players, and it does look like a young roster for you. One of those freshmen, Cole Anderson, coming around for you specifically here in the later part of the season.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be a really good 4-year guy in this league. The opportunity. A lot of times, freshmen, you don't get the opportunity to play as much as he's played early, and he struggled in the last two, and that's a part of our problem is. He's a big part of who we are and what we do. When he's good, we're pretty good, and he does a good job of anchoring the post down there offensively. And when he's not, then we're going to struggle a little bit. And so, he's a freshman, he's learning and he's getting better, and I certainly think he's got a chance to be one of the better post guys in the league before it's all said and done.
Coach, the Scots are 16-9 now overall, 11-6 in AMC play. It looks like it's been a good season for you, and things just seem to continue trending in the right direction in your tenure there.
Well, we've had a good season. I think we chose to play a tough non-conference schedule, and so we went out and played Faulkner on the neutral court and LSU Shreveport on the road, and those are top 10 teams in the country, and we've tried to do that. We've tried to give them a taste of what that's like, and regardless of what you do, it's just a different animal when you get in the AMC. I think this is a good league. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves, but that you can get beat by anybody in this league, and going on the road is certainly a tough deal. We're on number 3 on the road, and we're in a 4 out of 5 game road stretch, and especially with young guys, they just don't understand how tough and how competitive the league is. But, to this point, I've been pleased with our progress. I think we've gotten better as the year's gone on, and we've seen some improvement in some of our young guys. Winston Peace is a freshman for us. He certainly has made significant strides, starts for us, and Grant Patterson, freshman point guard. So, it's not just that we're young. We've got young guys at really important spots, and so they've made some progress, and they've gotten adjusted to AMC play. And what's important is that we finish this thing well.
And, Coach, not to, say anything about this season and leave it behind, but if you have young players like that in those important spots like that, and they're making progress, future does look pretty bright, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, we're excited for the future. We've got no seniors on our roster. We really only play about 2 juniors. So, our entire roster, for the most part, is made up out of freshmen and sophomores. And so, certainly those guys got to get better. And we're talking to them about they're not going to get better just because they get older. They've got to put in the work. But they do have valuable experience, and they've learned some things through the process. But, the biggest deal for us right now, and it's what we're telling them last night, is, we're going to remember how we finish this thing. We've got 5 games left, and 4 of them are against 4 of the better teams in the league. And we're going to remember how we finish this, and I think for future success, we need to finish this well.
Well, then let's talk about today's matchup with Central Baptist. Of course, this was a win for Lyon earlier in the season. CBC ranked number 18 in the country, and you come in with a 4-point victory there at home. This one's on the road today in Conway, and CBC is ranked number 19 now. So how do you go into today's matchup?
Well, they're a different team at home too. I do think they play. They play better at home. They've always have a great environment, and so we're excited about the challenge. But for us, what we have to do to be successful doesn't really change from game to game. We've got to do a good job of taking care of the ball. Got to be good in our shot selection, and then we got to be good and solid in our half court defense. They are really good inside. They've got good interior post play, and they push it in transition, and they really try to beat you up on the boards. And so we've got to do a good job of eliminating those things, take care of the ball, and then make them guard us. So, really that doesn't change game to game for us. it's another challenge to see how good we can be at what we do.
All right. Coach Chad Tapp, thank you, sir, for taking time with us today here on Midwest Sports Saturday. Success to you and good luck today.
Thanks for having me.
And that was Coach Chad Tapp from Lyon College, the men's basketball coach, as that game, the doubleheader, the second part of the doubleheader, will be set to tip at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And right now, I get to visit with the head coach of the women's basketball team, Coach Tracy Stewart-Lang from Lyon College. And sitting here with me right now, I know it's a little bit different environment. We were looking there.
Hi.
It could be a little more quiet back at home, or maybe
That's
not.
okay. Maybe it's good to get acclimated, have some distractions, have mental preparation.
Listen, Coach,
I like
thank
it.
you. Thank you very much for sitting in with me this morning.
Sure.
I appreciate you being with us here on Midwest Sports Saturday, which is presented today by Integrity Insurance here in Conway, Arkansas, and they have a number of locations, and we do appreciate them for doing that. Coach, your team 22-2 on the season right now, coming in on a 7-game winning streak, and obviously nationally ranked. We talked about that with Coach Middleton coming in. From your perspective now, as we're just a couple of weeks away from conference tournament time, how do you feel like the girls are looking?
Well, I think some days we look real sharp, and some parts of practice we look really sharp. But then we can, like anyone, as coaches know, that you can veer off real quick, and so that, the focus, that ability to just block out distractions, block out fatigue, overcome, whatever it might be, sniffles or flu, something more serious like the flu. Lots of teams are dealing with that.
Right.
They're dealing with failure and setbacks, and they're not dealing with success. That's a blessing. And but just, embracing pressure or whatever it might be. So, I mean, we're just trying to keep it simple and get better every day. Focus on the little details, because those basics are kind of what have built you to where where you might be, and so just to remind them who we are and what we need to be focused on.
We were talking a little bit earlier, just when you got here, about the fact just what do we look for in today's game, and I mentioned you don't have to give away any state secrets. I always tease coaches like that and say you don't have to worry about you're intimate in the game plan, but at this point in the season there really aren't that many state secrets, because this is the second go round in the conference schedule. So if they hadn't seen you already, they weren't looking well enough the first time through, number one, and with all the film that's out there. So how do you approach that then, to go, okay, listen, we've got to go out there and do it again?
Let's do it better. Do it better. Read better. Helping recover. All the little things. Again, it's back to the basics, and you look at film and, hey, we did this well. We did this better because we emphasized this the last few days. Or, gosh, we've fallen down on this, and it's on both sides of the ball. And I can remember working with, you mentioned Oklahoma, which is Fort Smith, not quite Oklahoma, but I worked with Coach Lewis Horton, one of the best coaches, I think, in the state. And he would talk about, a lot of people don't watch a lot of film. They just go, what I'm going to do, we know what you're going to do, who's going to do it better. And so film's great, and I love watching film, I love studying, but sometimes you can start focusing on other people and the extraneous things, and then you just need to get back to what you can control, and that's effort, and that's just that strong desire to compete and take away strengths and try to play to your strengths and do it better every day.
Well, and you have the experience and the know-how, and obviously it's been reflected in recent years with what your program's done with the national ranking, and of course this year obviously the record right along with it too at 22-2. It's fantastic. As Coach, I know you've been with the program for a decade and a half, and have also Division I experience, head coaching Division I experience, and in thinking about that, and you're right. It's definitely you still have to concentrate on who you are. Well, who you are right now, according at least to the way the numbers look right now, begins with Madison Riley and Liz Henderson as well, and some of these seniors. Talk about the players that we are going to see in now just a little bit more than an hour out here on this court behind us.
Well, they just do so much for us, and they've been in those spots, and I say those spots, they've been defending, the other team's better players for a few years now, and they've been put into situations as freshmen, as sophomores, so that's kind of layered who they are as players and those experiences, and I think just seeing them this year has been really gratifying and really rewarding to see them in some situations that maybe in the past they shrank from, and they didn't welcome that pressure or welcome that spot, and they wanted to take those shots, and that does a lot for our team on so many levels, and I think the biggest is the confidence and knowing that they're going to they're in it for the long haul, and they're going to fight for 40 minutes, and and we just have a lot of trust and confidence in one another, and I think that spreads for the most part. That spreads throughout, and they set the tone for us. They do, and they've done a great job this year. And no doubt, I know how talented they are, but I also know that they can go even higher, and they can improve, and they still haven't played their best basketball this year, and so I look forward to that every game. I think, okay, it's going to be tonight. We're going to put a lot of more things together, and we're going to have everybody on, and we're going to play our best 40, and so we're still pushing for that.
You have some roster members from around the area, and getting to see players again, even like the two I just mentioned there, being from the state of Arkansas. How big is it when those players shine, like what you just talked about, so that you're able then to look around and you don't have to go more than 50 or 100 miles sometimes from home to be able to find the quality of talent like is there right here in state?
It's just it's indescribable, really, and not to overstate that, but I don't know that I can adequately explain the pride that you feel for that kid, because you see the work that they put in. You see all of our kids do that. Student athletes, we know they dedicate so much time and effort and energy. But just as you're mentioning, a local kid at a high school, sometimes, I told Liz this, we got to the national tournament her freshman year, and that's what the coaches were asking me. Now how many Division I offers did she have? Well, the fact is, Liz stood playing her AAU basketball maybe in Nashville or Atlanta or Louisville, wherever a lot of these kids go every summer. She was in Rosebud or Pangburn, and she chose to stay local because that's what she chose to do with her money, her time, or whatever. Those are choices, but we were very, very fortunate to land certainly these two seniors, and for them to commit to our program and as they have, and for them to be able to achieve success and to grow as players it's wonderful. But that goes to your next class, your junior class, your sophomores, your freshmen, and they see that, and they hopefully buy into that work ethic and that program, and they find themselves in our system, and they blossom, and that's the goal. And it doesn't always happen, and that's not how the story always turns out, but hopefully that's where you want to be each and every day, working towards that end.
Coach, one last question, and again, thank you very much for being with us here on Midwest Sports Saturday today. Coach Stuart Lang from Lyon, whose team again is 22-2 on the season, and that just means you that much closer to the conference tournament play, and then hopefully another appearance in the national tournament. I can't see any way around that being the case at this point in the season, but I know you guys have games to play out. So let's talk about today's game then really quickly. How does today's game play out? You come in having won 7 in a row. Your last loss was in the midst of a long road trip, a 4-game road trip, which is what you're at right now, on the tail end of another 4-game road trip. So how do you get that 8th win today?
Well, I just think we get down and we show up. We get mentally prepared, physically prepared, and we've talked about that. And just the last game that you looked at and analyzed, and then you watch film and you go forward. We've got another great opportunity today. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for both teams, and the ball's going to tip up, and you better get down and compete and execute on both ends of the basketball. And when we're playing well and our chemistry starts to flow, but we've got to work at it. It doesn't just come easily, and you have to kind of remind them from time to time what we have to do to be successful, and just get in and work with them. And if it's we've had games where that immediately came, and it came easily. And then we have games where we've had to work a lot harder, and it was a bit of a struggle. And we've certainly had our struggles, and last game was one of them. But I feel like this group is going to fight, and I'm going to fight right with them. And so that's what we're here for, is to get down, and when it's tipped up, go to war and fight for the next win.
All right. Well, success to you today. And
Thank you.
throughout the remainder of your season, it's an honor to have you on the
Thanks.
show with
Thanks
us
for
today.
having
Coach
me.
Tracy Stewart-Lang from Lyon. Thank you very much, Coach.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue here. If you can go ahead and put that mic down, it's fine. That's all right. And go be with the girls. And tip time again, just a little bit more than an hour here from Redden Fieldhouse. And we have one more person who's going to step in here really quickly, and I get to visit with now, as you're the only person on the broadcast today that, to my knowledge, and I probably should be cautious with this statement, that it's going to be relatively quiet with you through our conversation, and that is Eric Holt, who is the Sports Information Director. We're here on Midwest Sports Saturday, which, by the way, is presented today by Integrity Insurance. I want to say thanks to the folks at Integrity Insurance for not only to sponsor our broadcast today, but also I know that they're a big part of athletics here at Central Baptist.
Yeah, they do our Athlete of the Week awards every week, and it's an honor to get to recognize them in that way. And they do a great job. The Fulghams who run that are great people. We really enjoy our partnership with them, and maybe it'll expand in the future. Who knows? But I'm sorry for the fire alarm. I know it added a little ambiance, but that was a little mistake that happened there, and it just, sometimes those things happen in places like this.
Campus.
Yeah, well,
so,
yeah.
Things happen. That's all right. I was just, and I think I mentioned, I'm surprised that's the first time that's happened during a broadcast. So, that's all right. As long as we're not doing anything wrong by sitting here, then we're all right. Well, Eric Holt, and by the way, being here on campus, being here at Redden Fieldhouse, I know we've talked a number of times on the phone and had an opportunity to meet you by way of at least a phone call a couple of years ago, and now getting to first time I've had a chance to shake your hand personally. There's so much going on. You do a great job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's a good program here, but it's crossover time.
Yeah.
This is where, forget the fire alarm for a moment, this is where it really gets exciting, almost with the fire alarm going anyway, figuratively speaking, because you have so much going on. A doubleheader right now going on. Of course, wrestling season, we're in the middle of that too. Golf's not that far away, but you have a baseball team that is really rocking right now.
Yeah, our baseball team's 9-0. It's the best start they've ever had in program history. They scored 30 runs in a doubleheader yesterday. They scored 16 in the first game and 14 in the second game. And my coach was telling us before the season he knew they'd be able to hit. He didn't know if they'd be able to pitch. And they've gotten both so far. In Game 2 yesterday, we had a guy who struck out 14. So, I mean, that's a good performance. You'll win games with guys when you're scoring 14 runs and you strike in out 14 batters. Yeah. So, you'll win some games doing that. But, baseball's doing really well. You'll probably touch on softball here in a minute. They're doing.
Give you that opportunity. I want to lead into it from one diamond to the next.
Yeah, they're playing really well right now. They're off to a 6-1 start as well. They beat a ranked team yesterday, so that was good. The softball program, ever since Coach Jones has gotten here, has continued the excellence that they've had in the past. They have been kind of the banner carrier for the athletics program, because as I showed you when we were walking around here a little bit before the broadcast, there's a bunch of softball banners up in this gym, they're kind of the holder.
That is something to enjoy looking at, seeing the banners behind. Now, I always want to get the shot where you can see the logo in the middle of the court, and I don't know if you can still see that or not, but that's something that's a big part of what we do is we want to promote wherever we are on whatever campus. But every now and then you can see those banners, and I know you can see a few of them behind our shot right here, and there are some that are directly over there. If you can see me pointing right there, you can't see the banner, I promise, but there are a few of those as well. And it just is indicative of a program that, really is starting to come into its own within the past decade. Mm-hmm. And it's been around for a while, but just within the past decade, starting to come into its own, from coming from the junior college ranks then being the 4-year college, working with the NCCAA, which I think is a fantastic organization, by the way, and moving into the NAIA, and then within the past 6-7 years that you've been with the American Midwest.
Yeah. So, since 2015, we've been a member of the AMC, right. But until 2 years ago, we were dual affiliated. We were NAIA and NCCAA both, and we had a rule in place. If you qualified for the NAIA, you would go there. If you qualified for, or if you didn't qualify for that, but you got into the NCCAA, you could go there. And softball, 2 national championships at the NCCAA level, so it's big time.
It is, and I've seen this from a number of schools that I've worked with over the years that go that route and have the opportunities, and it's another tournament. And I don't think it's a secondary tournament, really. It's a different tournament because you still have a chance to play teams literally from throughout the country. It is a true national tournament, and therefore is a true national championship as well. It's a nice banner to have.
Yeah, it is. And our coach was like, man, we don't know where we're going to hang this, because the 2010 banner was in the middle for a long time. And so she was like, well, I guess I'll have to get maintenance to move it over so we can put the other one right next to it. And when we had the ring ceremony for them, they kind of had the banner at that, and they were really proud of it. And they got some really nice rings to go along with that, too. So.
Well, I know it's crossover season, and I know with the folks that work in sports information, and I have so much respect for all the people with whom I get to associate that work in your field. This is one of the busiest times of year, hands down. But right now we've got 2 basketball games that are going to take place here in tip time right about an hour. It's 1 o'clock tip time here from Redden Fieldhouse in Conway, Arkansas. The Lion Scots, the Central Baptist Mustangs. And there's a ranked team in both games. So talk about what you think we're going to see today.
Well, the women's game, Lion's really good. We played them earlier this year. They're really good. But I think that we can do some things today that they may not be expecting. I would
be really disappointed, by the way, if he did not get to prop up his own team.
We have a player, though, that they didn't see the first time we played them, a girl named Grace Coates. Versatile 5'11" center. They haven't seen her yet. They've seen her on film. They haven't seen her in person. But ever since she's come in, she's averaging 12 and 7. So she's been a vital part of our offense. Of course, Holly and Corey doing what they do. Corey, she's a rebounding machine, and she's not that tall. She's 5'8", but she hustles after everything. So but I think they'll surprise Lyon today. I think it'll be closer, I think, than a lot of people will surmise that it will be. But I think we'll give them a game. And then the men's game, just being a statistics guy like I am, Lyon wants to try to keep us in the 60s. And that's the way it was when we played them at their place. It was a 65-61 game. We didn't have a couple of our guys when we played them there, though. So we're going to look a little bit different. Our big 6'11" guy didn't play when we were there. So he makes a big difference. And when you're missing 13 points and 8 rebounds, that can make a big difference for your team.
That's going to make a difference.
Yeah, and so that's what was missing that day. But I think if we can get the game into the 70s, maybe the 80s,
that bodes well
I think that bodes well for us because, like Coach Gallion said earlier, they want to slow us down. They want to slow us down, and we want to play defense, but we want to speed the game up too. Right. We don't want to get into a half-court game with them. We want to be able to run a little bit, but we also want to be able to control the tempo against them. And I think if we can do that today, and then we get a little help from Harris Stowe, who's playing Park today, to give us a 2-game lead, that could be really, really nice.
Now, and let's talk about why that factors in. Number one, I know that we've mentioned before that the Mustangs really want to get a third consecutive years of 20 wins in the season, which having 17 overall right now, not that far away. Definitely something that's doable. But in the NAI tournament, where you're talking about some of the automatic bids, if you are the conference regular season champion, you're going to get an automatic bid. And so and then of course the tournament, it shakes out a little bit different with the tournament champions. And if you win both of them, the next person in line, it's almost complicated. It's not really, but it could be if you let it be. But the point is, winning that regular season championship is going to assure you a spot at the next level.
And it's like Coach Gallion said earlier, we're 10-0 at home.
Right.
We like it when teams have to come here. So if we can win that regular season championship, everybody's got to come to us.
Right.
We don't have to go anywhere. And so when we get our home crowd here, when this place is packed out like it was 2 weeks ago for homecoming, and it's loud and it's rowdy and it's fun, we are hard to play against when we have games in our building. And if we're able to get the AMC tournament to come through here, teams aren't going to want to come in here and play us because the atmosphere is going to be unlike anything that they have seen before. And I think it's going to be like that too, kind of going back to softball a little bit. We host the conference softball tournament at the end of April.
That's right. We wanted to mention that.
When we play on our home field, it's different because it's comfortable for our girls. And we have a lot of depth this year. We had 7 returning starters, though, from last year. And most of them are girls that were recruited by Coach Jones. Came in as freshmen, have been in the program for multiple years, so they know the system.
Right.
They're really comfortable. And to get the opportunity to host the conference tournament this year, when it's been at Columbia, who's the strongest team in our conference the last 2 years, is a big deal.
Right.
And I think it's going to benefit us in that run in softball and hopefully in basketball too, because our women who clinched a playoff spot the other night too will have to go on the road more than likely to try to win the conference tournament. But if we can have it here for our men, that's a huge benefit for us.
And of course, you've heard some of the excitement already in the building. The men have been excited. They're ready to get things going. The women's game is less than an hour from now, tip time. Just at 1 o'clock, again, it's Lyon and Central Baptist. And as we wrap up our time here on Midwest Sports Saturday, again, I want to say thank you to Integrity Insurance for sponsoring this broadcast today. It's been a fantastic morning. We're moving into the afternoon right now. Great winter day. Great group of folks. Thanks to Coach Middleton, to Coach Gallion, to Coach Profit, also to Coach Tapp and to Coach Stuart Lang. Thanks also to Eric Holt, the Sports Information Director here. Eric, I have had a blast being on campus, but I'm looking forward to some good basketball today too, and you do a great job.
You will. Thank you. You will see some good basketball, and if you're watching, if you want to see some good basketball, go over to our Facebook page. In about an hour, we'll have the women's game live. Follow that up with the men's game 30 minutes after the women's game is over. So it'll be fun. But if you want to see some good basketball, be sure you tune in today because it's going to be fun.
That. And by the way, let me push one more thing. I always say subscribe to this YouTube channel, MidwestSports.net's YouTube channel. I would appreciate that. You should subscribe to the Central Baptist College Mustangs YouTube channel as well, because Eric has some great content on there, getting to visit with the athletes, with the coaches. I think you'll enjoy that if you're a fan of the NAIA sports and Arkansas college sports as well. You're going to like that. So subscribe to the CBC YouTube channel too.
Yeah, CBC Mustang Athletics on YouTube is what we are. If you don't mind looking at my face, I do a segment every week called the Mustang Minute. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of a recap of what's been going on in the week. And like Joey mentioned, with crossover season, there's a lot of stuff going on. Baseball, softball, basketball, wrestling ends next week. Hopefully we'll get some guys in nationals, though. And then, conference tournaments coming up in basketball, too. So
we'll try to keep you posted on all those things. Well, we've had a lot to talk about today, but it's been a lot of fun. So I want to say thanks for watching as we wrap up here from Redden Fieldhouse on the campus of Central Baptist College here in Conway, Arkansas. Midwest Sports Saturday presented by Integrity Insurance. For Eric Holt, I am Joey McWilliams. Thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe. And also, by the way, thanks to my silent partner today, Joseph McWilliams, for being with me and helping me with everything. Have a great day. God bless you.